Capitol Police, and Adam Kokesh and Tina Richards, who were arrested for the crime of having a press conference in Lafayette Park to protest the Answer Coalition getting $35,000 in fines. Cindy Sheehan, who was arrested for, I guess you...
I wanted to know why they were beating up.
Yeah, she was curious as to why they were beating up and arresting Reverend Yearwood. Well, there's a few people who haven't been arrested this week, but it's a sign that the Bush administration, we believe, and the government is going out of its way to set up extraordinary obstacles to suppress the demonstration, because they just want the Petraeus report and the complicit Congress people to accept it, and then to go on and refund and reauthorize the war. One of the most powerful voices standing in the way of that challenges that, has been Iraq war veterans themselves. And Jeff Millard is here, the chairperson of the DC IVAW, and we're glad that Adam Kokesh, who was arrested in Lafayette Park and has played such a vital role, are here, and thousands of other veterans and their family members who are coming to Washington. So we'll welcome Adam Kokesh.
My name is Adam Kokesh. I served as a sergeant on the Marine Corps Civil Affairs team in the Fallujah area from February to September of 2004. And I learned from my time there that the idea of imposing martial law on a sovereign nation, so-called sovereign nation on the other side of the planet, is an exercise in futility. And for all the rhetoric being used to justify it by this administration, it clearly does not align with their actions in continuing this occupation. As we heard from Petraeus, he is suggesting a drawdown of 5 brigades that are part of the surge in Baghdad right now, as well as a MU that was scheduled to come home anyways, as he has suggested. And this is not a suggested drawdown. This is a forced withdrawal because the military can no longer sustain that op tempo. In the White House right now, Tony Snow is doing his best to spin this to say, no, we could have called for more troops. We could have called for extension of their 15-month tours of deployment. And you know what? He's right. They could continue to disrespect our military and our troops and to make America weaker and less safe. They could. I'm grateful that they have only decided to maintain us right now deployed at our maximum capacity and not stretch it further than that. But as we've seen, this occupation is bad for America. It's bad for our ability to defend ourselves. It's bad for our security. It's bad for our ability to fight terror. It's bad for our stature abroad. And it's bad for my brothers and sisters serving, who are still losing their lives every day in this exercise in futility, while the politicians prattle on about the insurgency being in its last throes and turning the corner as we go further down the spiral, and saying that as they stand up, we will stand down. And it's gotten so bad, and the military has gotten so desperate in their effort to recruit people to send into the Baghdad meat grinder, that the recruiting game has gotten incredibly desperate. They've raised the weight limits. They've raised the age limit to 42. We have a record number of convicted felons joining the military with what they're calling morality waivers. I think that had something to do with how Bush got elected personally. We have a record number of people getting in without high school diplomas. Used to be you could not be admitted to the military as a convicted rapist. It's possible now. And it's gotten so bad that gangs are deliberately infiltrating our military. The Crips had an initiation ceremony in Baghdad where someone who was trying to get into their gang had to hold a blue bandana to his chest while getting the crap kicked out of him, and he died the next night of internal bleeding. The Aryan Brotherhood has issued a decree to their members saying that no matter how unqualified you are, no matter how bad your criminal record, the military is desperate enough they will take you now, and you need to go get the military training and combat experience for the upcoming race wars in America. These are the ends to which our military is being used today. This is why Iraq Veterans Against the War is standing up in opposition to this war. And unfortunately, as we've seen with the Petraeus report, as just one lie in the litany of lies that has come out of this administration, we cannot trust the so-called generals on the ground who care more about their careers than the truth, who care more about advancing themselves personally than their principles, and the oath that they swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. It's also clear that we can no longer trust Congress, the ones who care more about preserving their own power than the doing the right thing, the Democrats who have sacrificed their principles to maintain their edge through the 2008 presidential elections. It's time for the people to step up, take back our government, and restore our government to the will of the people. Unfortunately, the democratic process of voting and protesting even is not enough anymore. Asking, pleading, begging for change is not sufficient. It's time for the people to get in the streets and truly demand change and start to make it happen for ourselves. And that's what we're doing as part of the Week of Action with Answer Coalition. And Iraq Veterans Against the War is integrating into that with our National Truth and Recruiting Day on Monday, September 17th. And a lot of people are saying, well, sharing the truth about what military service is like today with people who are considering enlisting, well, that's bad for the military. Well, personally, the way things are being stretched, I don't think it could get any worse. What we want to do is force our government to choose between no army or one that truly represents the will of the people, that is not based on lies, that does not have soldiers who are being lied into their service, who are being tricked into deploying. What does it mean if we have an all-volunteer military if they were lied into being recruited? What does it mean as a country supporting this war if we were lied into it in the first place? But the best way to combat that is with the truth, and we're asking ordinary civilians, ordinary citizens of America who care about the future of this country, who care about the strength of our military, to get out and share that truth with those who are affected by these lies the most. And those are the people that are considering military service, that are facing the lies of recruiters in high schools and in community colleges and all across this country every single day. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Adam Kokesh. We have a list of speakers in your packet. We'll hear next from Eugene Petraeus. Eugene is at Howard University, and Howard University students are mobilizing for this demonstration, as they have been against the racist atrocities in Jena, Louisiana. They're connecting the struggle between war and racism. And we expect a very large student and youth contingent on Saturday. Eugene.
Thank you, Brian. As Brian mentioned, my name is Eugene Petraeus. I'm a senior at Howard University, and I'm also an organizer with the Answer Coalition. You know, much has been made of the so-called lack of involvement of young people and students from around the country in the anti-war movement. And what I want to make clear today, and what will definitely be clear in Washington on Saturday, on September 15th, is that it's young people, and a large part, that are shaping the leadership of this movement. We're having a national youth and student contingent, as Brian alluded to. We've got students coming from all across the country. We'd be here all day if I went on and told you all the places. I mean, from all of the Washington, D.C. area schools, from Howard to GW to American, to Maryland, to Kent State and Ohio, to Maine, to Massachusetts, and on it goes, coming here to join and march together as students and young people against this war. Iraq Veterans Against the War, the veterans, the active duty soldiers, those who have been killed unfortunately already, and those who are considering military service, those people are our peers. These people are the people that we commune with on a daily basis, that we talk to, that we go to school with, that we go to work with. And we're going to be together. We want to be in solidarity with the veterans and with the military families and the other young people who are going to be here standing and leading this demonstration to say, end the war now and bring the troops home. And that's what I mean when I say that students and young people are going to be the people shaping the leadership of this movement, because Adam is right. It's not just enough to protest anymore, because so many people have died on both sides. Every second, every millisecond that we spend longer in Iraq is billions and billions of dollars wasted. And more importantly, it's thousands and thousands of lives that are being lost on both sides. And we say as students and young people that we have to say that this is enough, now is enough, now we have to stop, because we can no longer send each other, because that's who we're talking about, each other, the people in our schools and our high schools who are recruited and are sent to kill each other. We can't send them into this meat grinder, as they call it, into this machine, the gears of this machine that have killed so many and drips blood, that we call the military-industrial complex. And not only sent to die, but sent to die on the backs of lies and on the corporate profits of many. And for them to go and talk about democracy and all these other lofty goals that sound good is really just a crock. And we at Howard students and students across the country recognize that it is a crock when there's 6 young black men